Museveni directs Ministry of Energy on investors. Uganda declared Marburg free as Cricket Federation in Sports launches T20 tournament. A very good evening. Welcome to News Tonight, this 8th day of December 2017. It's me, Michael Jordan Lukoma, with Elizabeth Nakakoni, and this is what we have for you tonight. President Yoweri Museveni, in our first story, has once again strongly warned all technocrats in government ministries and departments, especially that of minerals, to immediately stop frustrating foreign investors who come to Uganda to add value to the country's production. He has therefore directed officials from the Department of Minerals in the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development to expeditiously process all the documentation required by investors to enable those entrepreneurs implement their work smoothly. The President's directive came at the conclusion of the second day 5th Presidential Investors Roundtable meeting last evening, following complaints by investors from the African Gold Refinery Group that they are not receiving prompt support from the line ministries and departments in government to enable them export refined gold. The 5th PIRT meeting that was attended by foreign entrepreneurs, who included among others Baroness Linda Choker from Britain, was reviewing the progress made by various Uganda government ministries, departments and agencies since President Museveni launched it in August 2015. The sectors covered in that period included tourism, competitiveness and ease of doing business, energy, oil and gas, as well as minerals value addition. PIRT makes recommendations and advises government on how to improve the investment climate in the country to make it competitive in the global economy. The meeting agreed on a number of actions and resolutions to fast-track the development of critical areas, especially oil and gas, as well as minerals value addition in Uganda. Regarding the oil and gas sector, the meeting agreed on a number of actions, including prioritizing the construction of the critical infrastructure in the Albertine-Garabin region in western Uganda. On minerals value addition, it was also agreed that government facilitates the feasibility study on the investment and development of salt value chain, as well as building capacity to enhance continuous exploration, among other activities. Prime Minister Dr. Ruhakana Rugunda emphasized the need for government to prioritize key areas of development, such as infrastructure and skills development, among other areas. Linda Shoker urged technocrats to implement the recommendations made by the technical working groups if Uganda is to realize development. Certificates were given out to the technical work groups members to appreciate their work, and they included Honorable Kaijuka Richard, Honorable Elika Ruhanga, Mr. Daniel Peterson, Mr. Jimmy Mugerwa, and Ben Mugasha, among others. First Lady and Minister for Education and Sports, Honorable Janet Museveni, First Deputy Prime Minister and Deputy Leader of Government Business in Parliament, General Moses Ali, and Finance and Economic Planning Minister, Honorable Matia Kasaija, and Energy and Mineral Minister, Honorable Irene Muloney, among others, attended the meeting. In more news, President Yoweri Museveni has urged leaders from Kitgum district in the Acholi sub-region, northern Uganda, to work together for peace if they are to realize development in their area. The president made the remarks last evening while meeting National Resistance Movement leaders from Kitgum districts who called on him at State House in Entebbe. The delegation comprised of district councillors and market vendors who were led by the district woman member of parliament, Honorable Beatrice Anywar. President Museveni advised the leaders to form savings and credit cooperative organizations, SACCOs, in order to be able to benefit from government development programs such as Operation Wealth Creation, among others, which have been tailored to fight against household poverty. He assured them that he is going to help their area realize development, especially in programs that aim at elevating people out of household poverty. The delegation, through their MP, Honorable Beatrice Anywar, commended the president for his visionary leadership that has undoubtedly spearheaded development in the area. They pledged support to the president and the NRM government. Beatrice Anywar, on her part, pledged to work with government in order to bring services to the people of Kitgum district that she represents in Parliament. Thank you so much for watching. Ministry of Lands, Housing and Real Estate wants business to form cooperatives and mobilize finances that will sustain their industry. While launching the KPG Property Management Farm in Kampala, the Commissioner for Shelter and Human Settlement at the Ministry of Lands, Samuel Malaba, says that property managers must utilize the land efficiently so as to deliver affordable housing to Ugandans. We have it in detail in this report.
Masqueraders seem to have infiltrated property management and the real estate sector and could destroy the trade. Although government is making a national housing policy to regulate real estate actors and the bill to harmonize the landlord-tenant relationship, Minister for Lands has not forwarded the bill to Cabinet. The Commissioner for Shelter and Human Settlement, Ministry of Lands, Samuel Mabala, says the national housing law, when ready, will have penalties for people who lack integrity in the sector. He was launching KPG Property Management Farm, a new player in real estate.
Which we do acknowledge as a government is the issue of the inadequate long-term financing. And we are encouraging, therefore, the various groups and various people to organize themselves in housing cooperatives. And we believe that that way we shall be able to mobilize more funding to help us to build housing that is affordable. I've seen that at times where people who lack integrity get access to doing business in the management, they end up cheating other parties.
The chairman, KPG Property First, Bogere Ibrahim, says property owners can only enjoy the fruits of their investment if they maintain standard.
Rents, maintenance, and many other things that are related to the real estate sector. Today, we're emphasizing the fact that property investment is like any other property, any other business that requires professional management if you are to sustain and take it to the next level.
I'm Navka Farida and Gloria Gwitavinji reporting.
Navigator Development Foundation has launched a partnership with Kampala Capital City Authority to support it by equipping pupils with vocational skills in addition to the usual academics. During the function at Kitante Primary School, the Executive Director KCC Jennifer Musise Makula said that it's through this partnership that they are able to sustain and maintain these schools. The Navigator Sylvia Najinda of Uganda says this is meant to enhance and create a rich learning environment. She puts emphasis on health, humanness. This is to start with 10 pilot projects in 10 schools.
Long live your Royal Highness. Long live the Etsakate program. You have changed our ways. You have changed our lives. You have nurtured us well.
So we have only been able to do what we have done using partnerships like the Navigator Foundation and so many others that have come on board to help us build infrastructure. So the Navigator Development Foundation through the Etsakate program is going to help to fill that gap that these children have in their lives. Many of these children come from single parent families. Some have no parents at all. and have not had a chance to be trained, to be groomed, to have skills imparted to them, have not had the chance that some of us may have been lucky to have, where you have parental guidance as you grow up.
Now, Exakate is what NDF uses to deliver Ubuntu Bulamu, and the purpose of Exakate is to nurture both boys and girls into holistic individuals, social managers, and leaders who appreciate and harmonize both traditional and modern values. What this means is that the Exakate is not replacing the subject on your school curriculum. Instead, it is supplementing your current subjects with skills and attitudes that put all together will prepare you for the future and its demands. So Ubuntu Bulamu can be defined as healthy humanness, and it is based on an ancient African philosophy that reminds us that we are all part of the same community, and therefore every action we engage in is an impact on those around us. For instance, when you talk about integrity, honesty, responsibility.
National Water and Sewage Corporation has earmarked intentions to produce pellets from the fecal material and water silage collected at its treatment plants. Dr. Silva Mujisha, the Managing Director, National Water and Sewage Corporation, says that this will offer the best option rather than tree cutting for charcoal that has for a long time downplayed efforts towards environmental conservation.
As the year closes, National Water and Sewage Corporation is planning to start making pellets out of the fecal material that can be used for cooking to save the current environmental degradation. The Managing Director, Dr. Silva Mujisha, says the corporation's geographical coverage has increased to 225 towns compared to only 30 towns 4 years ago.
I would say that the laboratory tests have been successful, and now it is a question of scaling it up. So what is being done now is to locate the sites, is to test the market, and is to sensitize the people, to tell them that this is a better alternative than cutting charcoal.
Addressing corporation workers at the end of year party, Dr. Mujisha said the sewage can be processed into useful materials for cooking. He said government needs to enact a law restricting tree cutting for charcoal.
Even thinking that once this alternative has been properly established, we can work with government to put a law on banning charcoal. Because charcoal burning definitely affects the environment.
The board chair, Dr. Christopher Ebal, reminded National Water and Sewage Corporation employees that performance indicators remain key.
Stop wasting time on rumors and propaganda. These are redundant lines. You know, because some people have turned it to be their way of business. They waste a lot of time on rumors, propaganda. It is not one of your key performance indicators. They track you. You get the point? Because he lives, I can't face tomorrow.
Earlier, the occasion started with a Thanksgiving presided over by Peter Asimwe of St. Andrew's Cathedral.
At least you are quiet.
Same in the private as you are in the public. When you have leaders of integrity, you have a successful organization.
The employees had a party characterized with a dance, fashion show, and award of certificates of recognition.
3, 2,
Dorcas Kimono, UBC News.
Christmas is in the air. Thank you so much, Dorcas Kimono. And with her story, we'll take a very short break. On return, we'll start with that big news story where Uganda has been declared free of Marburg. So do not miss, just keep around. Welcome back from the break. This is News Tonight. Now, the World Health Organization, World Health Organization has declared Uganda a Marburg-free country after 2 cycles of incubation period totaling to 42 days passing without new cases reported. The State Minister for Health and General Duties, Sarah Opendi, and officials from the World Health Organization revealed this to journalists at the Uganda Media Center, as our reporter tells it.
The Marburg virus outbreak was declared by the Ministry of Health on 19th October 2017 following laboratory tests conducted at the Uganda Virus Research Institute, which confirmed that 1 person had succumbed to the virus on 13th October 2017. The first patient was a 35-year-old herdsman from Queen District that made frequent hunting missions to Kaptoum sub-county, where there are caves with large populations of Egyptian fruit bats. Since the outbreak, 311 people have been closely monitored by epidemiologists.
These are the people who had come into contact with the confirmed cases either during their sickness or after the death. And of these, 18 developed symptoms similar to those of the Marburg virus disease.
After intensive surveillance in the affected districts and with no new cases reported, Sarah Opendi says the country is now Marburg-free.
Today marks 42 days since the last death, since the last confirmed case of the Marburg disease. The last confirmed case died on the 26th of October. So today marks 42 days, and that is the standard guideline from WHO. So I am here to declare the country free from the Marburg virus disease. We have contained it as Ministry of Health with support from our partners.
She also urges the public to avoid contact with wild animals, especially fruit bats.
The Marburg virus disease comes really from these bats, which we have now all seen is dangerous to the humans. So let's reduce on this human contact with some of these animals and bats. And really, what is there in a bat? I don't see any flesh. We have so many things to eat. We have chicken, we have pigs, we have cows, we have ducks, we have goats, we have so many things as a country. Why should somebody in this age and era go out to hunt for bats?
The Marburg virus causes symptoms similar to Ebola, beginning with fever and weakness, often leading to internal or external bleeding, organ failure, and death. Rhoda Ngonzi for UBC.
The Commission of Inquiry into Land Matters has recommended cancellation of a land title for renowned Mbale businesswoman Rose Wekomba. The Commission confirms that the said title belonging to Wekomba was acquired and consented to by the customary owners in Bulambuli district.
Miss Rose Wekomba, the Mbale-renowned businesswoman and a tycoon, is facing a huge loss after she got a land title deed for a customary land formerly ascribed to the Babuya clan in Bulambuli district. The title deed, according to the Land Commission, was acquired illegally after Oscar Twanga, a Babuya clan member, was severely tortured to surrender to allow Rose Wekomba grab their land.
On those benches which were infested with bedbugs. The bedbugs scavenged on my blood all night long. After I had spent 3 long days and nights in police cell.
The title deed owned by Rose Wekomba will be overturned by commission.
If you've been used to grabbing land around here, you put a line in the sand and that is the last grabbing you ever did. You're not going to grab land before this commission.
Information from the land probe shows Oscar Twanga rejected the deal of selling the Babuya clan land in Bulambuli when he was arrested on orders of Rose Wekomba. Twanga told the commission that he was detained in a 1 meter by 1 meter room full of human waste and later submitted to assent to a fraudulent land transaction.
They had written that we Babuya clan members were the people who surveyed plot 150 inadvertently.
Inadvertently.
Inadvertently. And that we are now signing for the transfer of our title into Ross's names.
Wekomba, who appeared before the land probe, now staging in Mbale, was grilled and ordered to avail the purported agreements that she confirms the Babuya assented to in the sale of their customary land.
Agreed, and I told him how I was going to pay him and where we were taking the land, because all the land I was getting, I was not going to use it. Part of it was for sales, part of it was for me to use.
Wekomba is ordered to finance the commission delegation, leading her to Kampala to pick the agreements she alleges were consented to by the Babuya, who lost their 400-acre piece of land in Nametsi.
Some of my things are in Kampala.
You wanted OPM to come and make these people IDPs, the way they've done in Changwali? This is how you breed landlessness. Madam, you have a house in senior quarters. You have a house on Republic Street. You have a house on Bishop Wasike Road. You have a house on Kumi Road. You have land where you come from. You have land where you're married. Excuse me, how much land do you need? You have to go with my investigators and my policemen at your cost.
People at the public hearings in Mbale had this to say.
Prayer before this commission is to compel Prime Minister's office, if they want to buy land, let them come to the district, give allocation, give AIA district lands officer who knows the area, give the district cow mandate to buy land from genuine owners, than allowing grabbers to destroy the community.
The Land Commission is ended hearings in Bugisu region as other cases are referred for hearings in Kampala. Daniel Mugoya and Idris Lukwago reporting for UBC News.
Land matters of no joke. Anyway, despite Ugandans having a poor book reading culture, it has come to be noted that book writing culture generated from local content is also lacking. According to Joseph Kabuleta, a renowned sports and social writer, but lately more remembered for prostrating for Prophet Monye a few months ago, it's high time Ugandans embrace the culture of writing books basing on their local experiences to inspire others.
Joseph Kabuleta is a resounding name depending on what happened a few months ago when his pictures flooded mainstream and social media, prostrating before Prophet Elvis Mbonye. But behind that man lays a person who just a few years ago, before giving his life to serve God, was arrogant, egoistic, a know-it-all, especially if one wasn't his ilk. Cabello has put pen to paper in a book, which, though not an autobiography, exemplifies the life he led that unceremoniously ended with separation with his first wife.
Because character is at the heart of everything we do. And so many people don't even know what it means. And although we use it all the time, somebody has done something that is out of character. It's a word that is used frequently, but the reality is very few people know what it actually entails. Now I get to the bottom of this and use very contemporary example.
In the book, Strength of Character, Cabello calls anything in life an omelette, which can only be good if the eggs that make it are first class. He quotes that the quality of a relationship, romantic or otherwise, can only be as good as the character of the people in it. The biggest question in the book is that can someone change his or her character?
Now the thing is, when somebody, for the most part, people notice things about themselves that are undesirable. And they say that's who I am, and they try to excuse it and so on. But then I go to the heart of it and say, if I don't like what is coming out of me, if there were any way I can change it and be different.
Cabello calls upon many Ugandans to adopt a writing culture to help Ugandan problems get contextual solutions. The book will be launched next week. John Barnes, Centamo, reporting.
Minister of State for Higher Education, Dr. John Chrysostom Muyengo, has emphasized the need for higher institutions of learning to ensure the provision of quality and relevant skills to the students for them to compete favorably in the job market. He was representing the Prime Minister, Dr. Uganda, at the International School of Science and Business Technology in Kampala.
Beautiful graduation. very well organized.
Minister of State for Higher Education, Dr. John Chrysostom Oyingo, has commended the proprietors of the university for catering for the financially handicapped Ugandan children to acquire education. He was presiding over the 10th graduation ceremony of the International School of Science and Business Technology, ISBAT, in Kampala.
The university for the discipline of their students.
The University Chancellor, Fred Jachan Omach, advised the graduates to think positively to ensure success in their endeavors.
Have the key and you don't put it in the ignition and turn it. That key will be useless. So we have trained you holistically as a university. Go out, put the key in the ignition and turn it on.
The acting Vice-Chancellor ISBAT University, Dr. Sundindra Bhatt, says they have embraced the Scaling Uganda program, which emphasizes the provision of quality and relevant skills to Ugandans, especially the girl child, hence empowering women.
Uganda program employers want graduates who possess employability skills. Therefore, we were permitted by NCHE, who are regulators of higher education, their knowledge to real life situation.
For UBC News, I'm Jisache Lydia reporting.
Evangelists from United Kingdom, USA and the East African community attending a one-week Bible Believers Conference at Kagula Village in Wakiso District have appealed to born-again Christians and well-wishers to love, respect each other and work hard for the country. They say that through peace, unity and reconciliation, Uganda and neighbors will prosper. Pastor Paul Musisi of Caring Heart Church is hosting the 9th conference.
Jesus can come into your life, transform you, and by the message of the kingdom, God can use the church to transform the environment. I believe the church has to return to the message of the kingdom. The kingdom of God is here.
My prayer for all the Ugandan churches, if they pastors or ministers, leaders, all the congregation, they declare that I no longer live, but Christ lives in me. Their life change, the church will change, everything will change. As the Apostle Paul said, I die daily.
We want everyone to know that there's only one God, and He's a God of three persons, Father, Son, Holy Ghost. The Father sent the Son died on the cross and rose again, and the Son returned to heaven, and then the Son sends the Holy Spirit. So the Holy Spirit now is living in the believer, and our faith in God the Father and Jesus, His finished work on the cross, provides the Holy Spirit in our lives to live out our lives.
The German ambassador to Uganda, Dr. Albert Konzi, has called upon international communities, organizations and individuals to mediate the fighting parties in South Sudan. He said that the refugee burden will be unbearable for neighboring countries unless the situation is handled. He was launching the Refugee Response Fund, where Germany has given Uganda 10 million euros to extend education, clean water and sanitation to the refugees in Rhino and Bidibidi refugee settlements in Arua and Yumbe districts.
Over 1 million South Sudanese, Congolese and Burundians are seeking refuge in Uganda due to political instability in their countries. The influx has put pressure on the already burdened basic infrastructure and social services. Uganda organized Solidarity Refuge Summit in June this year to seek for external help. The German ambassador to Uganda, Dr. Albert Konze, while at the launch of the Refugee Response Fund at the office of the Prime Minister, asked international communities to ensure peace talks for South Sudan warring parties.
Of the region and of the continent make this their priority, get involved now, because none of them, and none of us, and none of these countries can afford another million. So my plea is that all those who may be able to exert influence on the current leaders of South Sudan may use this influence and may not lose any more.
The German government has donated 10 million euros to extend education, water and sanitation to Arua and Yube districts. State Minister for Disaster Preparedness has promised to put the money into good use.
Very high. We will appear like we are nagging you most of the time when we insist on transparency, not that we are doubting your capacity to be transparent, but we will insist on transparency, we will insist on tangible results, because the stakes in this intervention will be one, a beacon to most of the resources that are about to come, and also it will encourage other partners to say, if through the German KfW intervention, working with the government of Uganda, with the Prime Minister, these partners have been able.
Initial funding will be allocated to 2 projects of water and sanitation for over 45,000 people in Rhino settlement in Arua districts and support to education system in Bididi settlement in Yumbe district. Reporting for UBC News, Ongeso Godwin Mark and Maureen Nabachwa Yiga.
Yes, welcome now to Business News tonight. Now, the first story in business is not a good one. Property worth billions of shillings have been destroyed when fire broke on Friday morning at Ntinda Industrial Close in Kampala. The warehouse that was burnt down was fully packed with shoes that belonged to Chinese investors dealing in import business in Uganda. By press time, the cause of the fire was not yet established and police was still on ground to find and put off the fire.
Employees at Dongjia warehouse and neighboring companies in Ntinda, Kampala were stranded from early morning after their place of work had been destroyed by fire. Shanita Ansinguza at the site of the fire says the fire started at about 3 a.m.
We were sleeping up there. So we felt smoke, we woke up. Then when we came out, the smoke was all up. So the Chinese alarm had to go on. So we thought maybe there are thieves or something had happened. We had to come running.
The warehouse has been used by Chinese investors that import the shoes for sale in Uganda. Although the exact figure of the loss was not yet established, but some neighbors say the loss could be in billions of shillings.
The loss is really too much because compared, they had offloaded 4 containers this week, and yet the store was almost halfway. So when they brought the 4 containers, they filled the whole store preparing for Christmas.
Joseph Mugisha, the police chief fire officer, says police responded in time, but they could not save much since the fire had raged on for some time before police got the information.
Nobody died because the warehouse was closed. There was nobody inside it at that time. There was, however, people who were working in a factory making tissues, which was quite neighboring, which was attached to that very warehouse. We were able to save it from fire which had started attacking it.
The details of the fire remain scanty, but police pledges to investigate.
We've got some clues, certainly some clues that we can follow.
In 2015, Crest 4 Mattresses warehouse in Ntinda Industrial Close was gutted, injuring workers and destroying property. Philip Aguta compiled the story for UBC.
So sad there. Technologists believe that there is enough for youthful entrepreneurs and artpreneurs to harness in the digital space. Technology offers unlimited opportunities, says Michael Kwatampola, however, his concern is the slow rate of adoption in Uganda. Michael, a technologist, was one of the facilitators at the Google Business Group 2017 chapter in Jinja.
The Google Business Group Uganda chapter is meant to enhance the adoption of information technology systems in businesses. This year's event in Jinja brought together youthful entrepreneurs from across the country to network and share ideas on how to exploit opportunities in the digital space. The robotics innovation caught the attention of the participants who are aware that robots could be manufactured in Uganda. New technologies have transformed the world and revolutionized the way businesses are conducted, says Bernard Luigale, the Google representative, Uganda.
Anybody can do this. You have a passion, something that you like to do. It could be acting, it could be poetry, it could be anything, name it. Create your YouTube channel, keep uploading this content, and then people will go to your content. And what happens is once you have a certain number of viewers, then Google will place ads on your YouTube channel. And for every ad that runs on your YouTube channel, Google pays you money for it.
Mobile phones, tablets, computers are mostly used for communication. However, these gadgets can also be instrumental in creating sustainable jobs for unemployed youth.
The percentage of people below the age of 25 is pretty high. The average age in this room, if you look at the young guys, should be about 20, 22. We have some 19-year-olds, some 16-year-olds, and also have some elderly people who are in business and they actually want to find out how can they leverage technology. But we believe the younger generation would be the best ones to best leverage the technology as well as bridge the gap between entrepreneurship and technology.
Through supporting initiatives such as Women Well, Google seeks to bring Ugandan women and the promise of technology together with the help of technology and the internet.
We are looking at women developing startup businesses and those in business to improve their businesses by marketing, maybe training to get more, and even broadcasting over the internet.
Uganda has one of the youngest populations in the world. Technologists believe that through embracing and harnessing of IT, many jobs will be created. Dennis Igoa for UBC News in Jinja.
Government will emphasize business, technical vocational education and training institutions to help improve skills development in the country. The Permanent Secretary Minister of Education and Sports, Alex Kakoza, has disclosed while on a familiarization tour to training institutions in Kabarole, Bunyangabu and Kasese districts.
The government is promoting business and technical studies program to help school leavers get employable skills. The Permanent Secretary, Minister of Education and Sports, Alex Kakoza, says BITVET institutions produce technicians vital in creating income-generating projects for themselves, communities and the country. He was visiting Fort Portal School of Clinical Officers, Kisomoro Technical Institute.
We want people to know that TVET is the engine of the engine that will drive us to the middle income status. It is the program that will help us, improve incomes of our youth, because they will be able to get employment, they will be able to be employed or to employ themselves.
Alex Kakoza appeals to religious, local leaders, teachers and parents to mobilize their communities into appreciating vocational education and assured them of government support.
Therefore, we are appealing to the leadership, especially the religious leaders, in their churches, in the mosques, whenever they interact, let them market TVET. To the local leadership, when they are doing their work, let them talk to the people to send their children to the technical training institutions, technical training colleges, the health training institutions, to do nursing, to do clinical officers courses, to do technical training of all sorts.
Under the new curriculum, competence-based education training, Kichwamba Technical College has constructed a complete office and classroom block at Kichwamba Primary School, among others. The Permanent Secretary, Alex Kakoza, later commissioned staff quarters and rehabilitated 8 classroom blocks for Kasese SS. Construction cost government and well-wishers over 600 million Ugandan shillings. I'm Navka Farida. I'm Ganga Henry reporting.
In business, Uganda's insurance sector players are optimistic of that, more trained professionals will help change the public's mindset about this sector. According to the State Minister for Finance, General Duties, Honorable Gabriel Ajedra, regardless of the gradual and positive change in the public's perception on insurance, more needs to be done in boosting the sector's penetration. Ajedra made the remarks at the third graduation ceremony of the Insurance Institute of Uganda in Kampala.
I realize that Ugandans have been appreciating insurance, with many people taking at least one or two insurance covers available in the market today. Ladies and gentlemen, the insurance industry is yet to make strides in the new areas of microfinance, bank assurance, oil and gas insurance. I was happy to note that we had students specifically trained in the area of oil and gas. These trends will open new opportunities for employment, innovation, financial protection, economic growth, and increased GDP of our country.
That is going to happen come this year, whereby you can be trained and certified as an IT professional. So all of you, very soon it will be a requirement that you go through that certificate to get those skills. And why do I say so? Because very soon our teaching is going to be e-learning and e-examinations.
Yes, we'll wind out our business segment with Sewage farmers who have been taught on how to increase farm yields and quality crops within the region so as to meet their sustainable goals and Uganda's Vision 2040. A social entrepreneur and the lead farmer, Cherop Joel, said this during an open field day for farmers and encouraged them to adopt technologies that would improve their yields.
Sewage sub-region is geographically located at the slopes of Mount Elgon with rich volcanic soils, which has made the region a major food basket. A renowned and lead farmer, Cherop Joel, says success in agriculture, even for farmers on small plots of land, will depend on partnerships.
That being the first of its kind, it has attracted partnerships from seed companies, from companies dispensing technologies like irrigation, and the Tony Elumelu Foundation, which happens to be my mentor.
A range of activities were showcased by farmers in the open field day on how to earn money from smaller pieces of land.
As I was able to mobilize farmers from across the divide, coming from Uganda and even coming from as far as Nigeria, I was preaching to them that we can use small land to generate so much. And my message was customized to the youth who still don't believe in themselves, who are still preoccupied with speaking about a lack of capital.
We are trying to also improve the volume and the amount that a farmer can achieve from a small farm. We are looking at what a farmer can produce from only 1 acre of land.
Seyoko Emma, the chairman of Sewage Cooperative Union, says the organization can benefit from farmers who have learned post-harvest handling techniques.
This is the Cabello Cooperative Union, which collects from the farmers. I believe we are doing our best by taking them back to understand what it means to farm. Then our work will be made simple by just waiting for the yield that they will get from today's learning. And then they will be able to give us that. So our next step will now be to look for market.
More than 80% of Uganda's population rely on agriculture. However, for Sewage region, the poor road infrastructure, loss of fertilizers and quality seeds is affecting agriculture in the area. Banonya Cosmos and Weki Plangat reporting.
Yes. In the world of sport, Uganda Cricket Federation has launched their first edition of the T20 tournament, the first of its kind in Africa, due to kickstart on the 29th to the 23rd, I beg your pardon, from the 9th to the 23rd of December this year. The franchise tournament will see the world's best creme de la creme cricket players combined together to play entertaining cricket. 40 Ugandan cricket players have been identified to take part in the competitions, and the athletes will use the tournament to explore more cricket skills from the international experience. 10 countries will take part in the competition, namely South Africa, Kenya, Canada, Zimbabwe, among others. Futsal Super League took center stage in 12-man team clash of the 2017-18 season at the International Futsal Courts, Mengo. Parakeets suffered another loss against Elephants 4-2. KPSG hammered Reham 3-5. Yak fought hard to beat aggressive Kabowa United 3-2. Saona lost to Wijam 3-1. Park walloped Yap Stars 6-3, and both Yap Stars Muchivi Ali and Sauna's Bikamata Veron lead the scoring league sheet with 10 goals, while Dreamers Mutiaba Sulaiman has 8 goals. Table leaders KPSG has 15 points. Second place Dream has 12, while in the third position is Park with 10 points. The league has players like Oirok Goffin, Gofre Mawia, Kalisa Jamil, Gofre Charibo, among others. Yes, from the president meeting investors, fire in Tinda, Uganda being declared Marburg free, up to the killings in Congo, and now cricket tournament T20, we come to the end of news tonight. Michael Jordan Lukomwa is my name. With Elizabeth Nakakoni here, we wish you the best of the weekend and the season that we have started.